thing we want to say is the session says NASA webinar. So what was intended for this session was, you know how you do those NASA webinars once a month or whatever during this, we were trying to talk NASA into doing one now at Immaculata so we can get one out of the way, but they weren't able to pull off the content. So we found out Friday at about noon that we had to come up with some kind of presentation because we couldn't leave the spot blank. So hence I reached out to Steve and we came up with what you're going to see today. so Steve has set some, before we start, I'm Barb Chisduck, I'm the Scranton Regional Coordinator. I also work at Riverside School District, I'm their Technology Coordinator. And Steve.
And I'm Steve Shapiro, I'm the Coordinator for the Philadelphia region, and also doing some other work. I've retired from the school district, former teacher retired, and now I'm doing some other things in support of technology and STEM. So we set some goals for this workshop. We thought that one of the best uses of this time would be to give you an opportunity to explore some of the NASA resources, because we know that you've probably looked at some of the apps but may not have had a lot of time to download them or explore and look at them. And the same with the various NASA websites. I know from Goddard you probably got a lot of information about various NASA websites. So one of the things we thought that we could do at the time is give you a chance to explore them and maybe even discuss a little bit about how you can use them in your classrooms. One of the things that you've been asked to do as part of your lesson plans for this grant is to embed NASA resources as much as you can into that. So we thought that would be something good to discuss while we're here today.
If anything, we're going to show you where all those resources are. Whether we get to all of them, we don't know, right?
Like good teachers, we overplanned and have a lot of stuff on the agenda. So whatever we get to, it's more important that you get as much out of this workshop as you can for yourselves.
So we also had, I don't know, some of you are new, some of you might have had about 4 years ago, I think it was the end of the last 3-year grant. I worked with another teacher, another professor, and we showed EPIC 2020. Anybody familiar with that? Oh, good. Okay, so you haven't seen it. So EPIC 2020, and 4 years ago when I showed it, was it's about the future. What is it going to look like? Higher education, not colleges. What does colleges look like in 2020? And it was developed in 2012. So the data and what's in there is up to 2012 real, and then they start to imagine and they start to say, what's happening. So what's really interesting is people that saw it and are revisiting it, and even if you haven't, it's like, wow, they're not too far off, or are they really out there? So we're going to show the video. We want you to think about it, mostly from a standpoint of what you as a teacher in K-12 environment need to do to have a kid college and career ready, knowing what has happened up to 2015 and what that looks like in online learning and things like that. So what are you doing in your classroom to maybe get that college and career ready person? But Steve has found a great tool that we're going to try to model some of the tools a little bit. Today's Meet, it's like a back channel. I'm going to put it up over there. If you go to the link, you simply, he's going to demonstrate. I don't want to take his thunder away. But, and it's a great tool. So
today's Meet is sort of like a way for everyone to participate in discussion while something else is going on. So while you're watching the video, if you have some thoughts about the video, some concerns, some questions, you could just post them up here on this back channel site. The idea is, I know sometimes when I'm watching a video, I want to lean over and say something to the person next to me make a comment about it, or I have a question, but I don't want to interrupt the video. By the time the video's over, I forget what I was going to ask. So this is a way to just kind of post things. We'll all be able to see it. It's a running discussion. And then think about how you might use a tool like this in your classroom. Is this something you could use in your classroom? So I set up a room on this site called Today's Meet. Real easy, it's free. And the room, I just called it Immaculata 1. So the URL is todaysmeet.com/Immaculata 1. you can go to that on one of your devices, or I actually posted QR codes on the side of the room. If you have a QR code reader on your device, you can scan the code.
How many know what a QR code reader is? And we can, later on, if you want to download or find out how to do that, we can help you with that.
So QR codes, I'm sure you've seen them posted all over the place, and businesses are using them now. It's a way to get to information, like the old barcodes that we used to use. Now they're using QR codes because they can contain a whole lot of information, and you can actually generate your own QR codes very easily if you ever want to do that. Some people put them in their business cards, even to get somebody quickly to their online resume or their personal website. So you can,
Steve, usually show them the wiki too, in case we have anybody that's new to the...
okay, the wiki, I thought I had that up here. Oh, there it is. So you're, hopefully, is there anyone new to the grant? Just a couple people?
Are you new to the grant? New? You're new?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so this is an important wiki up here in the URL there. It's pastem.wikispaces.com. You'll find a lot of the information if you don't already know that.
Yeah, I just found that out last
Okay.
night. I'm still learning how to use an iPad.
Okay, so Steve is going to do...
You'll learn by doing. That's how we all learn. So the wiki we use to disseminate information. I've already started posting the year 3 pages up here. I did put some things from Goddard up. There's not much there, but once the Goddard presenters send me their PowerPoints or whatever they choose to share, that'll be posted here as well. Right now, it's just a few pictures from Goddard and some of the internet resources that they shared with us at the workshop that I attended. I put up there. Immaculata page. A couple of professors have started posting their resources that they want to share with you. So rather than giving out a lot of handouts, some of them are posting their pages up on this site, so it's easy for you to get to. We have a few people have done it, not everyone though, but we're getting there. And then the NASA resources is something that we're going to take a look at later. I put up some sites that I'm familiar with. But the cool thing about the wiki is that this is an open platform. As long as you're a member of the wiki, you can edit the page and add things. So if you've discovered some good links, some good NASA resources that I don't have there, feel free to go in and add them to the list. And you're not going to break it, you're not going to ruin it. It's going to get better the more people that participate. Yes?
Our lesson plan templates are on there.
So what's that?
Our lesson plan templates.
So the lesson plan templates are not up here in year 3, but I believe that I was told they're going to use the same ones from last year.
Okay.
Lesson plan resources 2014. I'll probably just take that same page and move it up here.
Okay. Are you having a class on lesson planning?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you if you had it. There is a session.
I have it, but I know she's new. I'll help you.
Yeah, you're going to have a session.
There is one.
There is a session.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
And I see that when we went to our workshop at NASA, they had the NASA websites, but it seems like we had to go to core sites to get to those websites. The Blackboard. So here, we can go to Wikispace.
See, that's why NASA might not have sent you anything. They're posting their resources on the course site is what's happening, yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah. And keep this in mind when you watch this video. What NASA's trying to do is use course sites. They're trying to develop an online learning tool and get themselves and the people that come through there acclimated with providing their resources that way. And you can all see over the years, us working with NASA, we've used the wiki. So now, there's a transformation going on with NASA too in terms of how they want to educate and provide resources. They're dabbling in that online learning environment. You can see that happening. So,
how's everyone doing with course sites? Are you finding it easy or not so easy?
Well, that's good. That means you'll have some discussion because we're seeing this after about that.
Well, they just showed it on.
What's that?
When we were supposed to get on, like 3 months ago, and put in something like our goals, and then we were supposed to find our course under courses. I entered my goals, course wasn't there. I thought, okay, he said it wouldn't be up yet, so I went back like a month later, and then I couldn't even log in. And Jordan Snyder was very prompt in responding to me at all times. He said, well, did you choose the forget the password button? And I did, but when I would click forget password, like nothing changed. Like no new window came up, no email came to my email.
Right.
And they
So I
were supposed to
just-
send a link to get us to re-register, and they never did.
All right, so again, there
Not
are
necessarily-
growing pains, I think, at NASA are happening, so the only thing I would do if that was me is I'd continue to email them. You know what I mean? Don't give up on it.
I
Like,
didn't know
just-
how important it was. It's just like they were looking for giving us information about our courses. I thought, well, I'm already been gone at Goddard, so
Well, there is one thing that's going to happen with that, that's why you might want to correct this. They're going to ask you, based on your content area or grade level, to watch a webinar. And they're going to, the option's going to be to watch it live, or we will be watching the recorded version at the monthly sessions. And in the Scranton region, what I allow, I don't know if every coordinator does this, but if you watch it live, and if I'm showing that recorded version at the end or the beginning, you could leave early or come late, because you did your time at home. So I'm trying to encourage the live, because that's, I'm sure, what NASA does, but they don't want to run a session without anybody in it. But it's a pain, because it's sometimes not convenient, you know.
Sometimes they run the live session during the day when you're
It's usually like at 4 o'clock.
Right.
And it's always a day, there's some
or
other
when
thing,
you're
like
driving
I-
home after school at 4
So
o'clock.
you'll watch the recorded, but we did have a couple Scranton teachers that did it, and the one guy said it was awesome. I was at my house, I opened up the beer, I'm watching the webinar, you know? So like he
Yeah.
and then he was able to leave because he has young children, so there was an option there. And again, like with the bigger picture of this, I'm sure NASA's trying to figure out, they want to model our grant in other states, so they're trying a lot of different things. So your input, you know, to let them know, you can't say this is ready and then make us re-register, like
4 o'clock is not a good time.
4 o'clock. is not a
There's
good
my
time.
input.
Right.
One of the problems with these sites that they try to build something very complex and very comprehensive, like course sites is a pretty complex and comprehensive type of portal. But the more complicated it is, the more things that can go wrong with it. As you've seen, you know, there's problems. We've seen it elsewhere with other portals. The wiki is very simple. It's not complicated at all. So, you know, it's been working. That's why we're sticking with it for now, because it's very easy. And I encourage anybody who wishes to add things to it to, you know, join it if you haven't joined, and feel free to edit. It's really easy to do. But let's move on. We've got some things to cover, including a video to show you. Go ahead, Barb.
So again, this is the website. It's called epic2020.org. Where there's a video. Keep in mind, like I said, it was developed, but if you scroll down past the video, there is some active information about, you know, it's not totally outdated. You'll link into more current things at some point. So we're not going to be able to go over the whole website, but at the top of the website, there's some menu options just to show you online courses. If you click that, Khan Academy. So some of the things they're talking about, you have resources here that you can go back and look at. Again, we're going to show the video. We're going to do a little discussion about what you thought of the video, and it could be all over the place in terms of what you were thinking. There's a back channel going on if you want to dabble with that, and just, you know, as the video's going on, you know, make a comment just to show how that works. The back channeling tool is, you're able to capture that. So if you were to use this in your classroom, you could be on the chalkboard demonstrating some mathematical concepts, blah, 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 formula, and asks the kids to back channel. So everybody wants to talk in chat. Well, so here's their opportunity. If you have like a one-to-one initiative where they have a device, they could be, you know, saying, yeah, well, that didn't make, and then you can grab and capture that and know how your kids were thinking while you were doing the lesson, instead of stopping and having hands go up, you know, so it's their chance to say it as it's happening. And then you read it back.
If you sign up for an account with them, you can do this without, you can do free. But if you sign up for an account which is free, you can have various rooms, multiple rooms. So if I clicked on like your room, my rooms here, I would have all the various rooms that I've created listed there.
So it's
So
pretty
you
neat,
can-
real quick and easy without getting an account, you just do it, or if you want an account, you can keep track of it. And again, it's todaysmeet.com.
And if I click on the room tools, I can actually get a transcript. So if you wanted to download, save a transcript of the discussion, you can do that as well.
And what's cool is you just click QR code and you print that thing out, and the kids have their iPhones, they can scan it and go back channel with you. So to bring your own device environment, if you're allowing cell phones, it's a great tool. They're able to participate.
All right, has everybody been able to get onto this? Any problems? Again, it's todaysmeet.com, Immaculata.
Get on.
All right, ready for the video? All right, that's big. And here we go.
It is the best of times, it is the worst of times. In 2020, people have access to a breadth and depth of knowledge unimaginable in an earlier age. However, schools, as you know them, have ceased to exist. Academia's fortunes have waned. 20th century universities are an afterthought, a lonely remnant of a not too distant past. The road to 2020 began in 2009. Al Khan starts the Khan Academy. His goal? To educate the world. Khan's low-tech conversational tutorials suggest an educational transformation that de-emphasizes classrooms, campus, and administrative infrastructures, as well as brand name instructors. Videos are hosted on YouTube and provided for free. With an instructor of one, the Khan Academy offers thousands of videos, but the real power is in its exercise and assessment system. Teachers, coaches, and mentors can set up groups of students with an exercise system that provides an infinite number of questions, coupled with hints and links to content material. Mastery is required before moving on, and a game system of energy points and badges provide instant rewards. Time on task data is measured in seconds. The system measures learning. In 2011, Mozilla announces its Open Badges project. It is a program that recognizes skills and achievements. It is open to companies, organizations, and individuals to issue, earn, and display badges across the web. Badges represent an alternative to accreditation and degrees. At the end of 2011, Sebastian Thurn, a computer science professor at Stanford, conducts an experiment by offering a free, no prerequisite, online 10-week course in the Introduction to Artificial Intelligence that parallels his on-campus course. 160,000 people register. During the course, students post questions to the class blog, where other students use the Facebook system of likes. The best questions rise to the top. Students then submit answers and are rated by their peers with an Amazon 5-star system for the most helpful answer. The best answers rise to the top. Students are teaching students. 23,000 students pass the online course, 253 with perfect scores. Professor Thurn realizes that during this session, at 160,000, he has taught more students the subject than all the rest of computer science professors in the world. The 23,000 who pass the course represent more students than most faculty will teach in their career. Out of the 200 Stanford students attending the traditional course, only 41 were in class at the end of the course. The other 159 opted for the online asynchronous presentation. Professor Thurn gave one of his hardest examinations. The on-campus passing rate was the highest ever. 2012 would be remembered as the year everything began. January, Professor Sebastian Thurn resigns his tenured position at Stanford and launches Udacity to offer an engineering and science curriculum. March, Udacity launches 6 computer science courses, all online, all free. Udacity will contract with the very top students to represent them as an employment agent. Udacity's model is to connect world-class talent to world-class companies that happily pay a fee of 20% of their first year's salary. 50 students hired equate to $1 million of revenue. The employment value of the top 5% funds a free education for the rest of the world. Tuition is abandoned as a concept. MIT opens registration on its MIT X courses to start in the fall. The courses will use the latest interactive technology and are free. For a modest payment, a certificate will be provided. 120,000 sign up in the first month. In April, TED announces the creation of TED-Ed. TED-Ed will follow the compelling video format of TED and will feature the best teachers in the world, paired with the best media production teams. TED-Ed will be free. The federal government announces that student loans exceed $1 trillion, more than credit cards and car loans. Universities across the country announce tuition and fee increases double the rate of inflation. The elections of 2012 result in legislation that eliminates Pell Grants and terminates the student loan exemption from bankruptcy. 2013, the student loan industry collapses. Scholarship funders begin shifting their focus from providing individual student loans to funding organizations that provide free online course content. Across the country, students revolt over the costs of education and demand the elimination of a set price for content and assessment. If they take content online for free, then they demand to pay only for the assessment. In 2014, flagship state universities respond to student, parent, and legislative demands by providing transferable course credits for demonstrated ability rather than class attendance. The connection between content and assessment is broken. Apple, with its massive cash hoard, buys Amazon to form Applesong. Kindle and iBooks have merged into the largest educational content distribution system in the world. iTunes U is expanded as an educational app platform where teachers can offer their content for free. International course enrollment replaces peer-reviewed articles in tenure considerations. Applesong uses the Amazon preference matching algorithm to match personal skill levels with company skill requirements and moves to the student employment agent funding model. In response, Google buys 2 nonprofits, the Khan Academy and Udacity. The Khan Academy has over 10,000 video offerings, 4K to introductory college courses, that is now combined with Udacity's 500 courses in engineering and science. Google expands the Udacity student employment agent model to companies at international, national, and local levels. The education wars of the late decade are notable for who does not participate, other than the elite schools such as MIT, Stanford, and Harvard. Colleges and universities sit on the sidelines as Applesong and Google battle for world student market share. In 2018, badges replaced degrees as the preferred skill validation for companies. Except for the elite universities, companies no longer recruit on campus, preferring instead the lifelong learning and training approaches of Applesong and Google. By 2019, residential college campuses are now maturational holding grounds for the children of the wealthy. Their focus is on comfortable living accommodations, gourmet food, recreation, social activities, and sports teams. A few trophy faculty remain to lead discussions. On Monday, June 22nd, 2020, Google unleashes Epic. Epic, the evolving personal information construct. Epic not only understands everything that you know, but also it knows everything that you need to know to be successful in your professional, social, and personal life. Epic constructs and provides just-in-time knowledge and information that keeps you current and synchronized with everyone around you. At its best, for those that use Epic, they are connected to the world and those that control it. They know everything and everyone that they need to know. At its worst, and for too many, Epic is not used, and the world is an increasingly misunderstood and frightening place. They retreat from involvement and seek the security of a leader, an Epic leader.
Out there, huh? A little out there. So what do you think? What did that just say? So,
I don't think it's going to come to that quickly.
well, I mean, here's what I think. I think a couple things, but just to launch off. Khan Academy. So that is happening. When I did this 4 years ago, the feedback from the teachers were that I didn't like. This is happening over in Europe. Education is free, and it is about that whole system is already happening 4 years ago. Someone said, yeah, I know of many businesses that you get a degree, engineering degree, and then you have to pass the Khan Academy course or take the course. So businesses are using these free tools. They are, so our students that we're sending off to colleges and colleges going into employment, college and career ready, what do we need to do to prepare our kids to be in that environment? Like, we can't continue to be traditional in our K-12 environments. So I'm getting a lot of feedback from schools that don't have technology. They can't do this kind of technology. I mean, I could talk about what we've done at Riverside, my vision as a technology coordinators to provide that tool 9th through 12th grade to give them this device. They get the Dell Ultrabook or Latitude. They get it for 4 years. They take it home all through the school year, and they turn it in the summer. We can give them the exact device back. So we're providing it. We did it at no cost to the district. Actually, we just rerouted the whole concept like we're talking about. We took the idea of computer labs and elementary stations and mobile carts and stopped buying that and bought 9th graders all devices. And when we rerouted that money, it was $10,000 less. And then, so now they had a device for 10th grade, the 9th grade again stopped. So for 4 years, we did this without investing in anything. And what we found out was the newest mobile laptop cart that we had done, 2 of them the year before, went down to the elementary. So they started to get the technology, not high end. You know, everybody wants iPads. Any kind of grant funding, we were hitting those kind of, extras, I would say. But to lay the foundation, knowing that a student at Riverside is going to graduate with that device in a 9th through 12th grade setting. And now, all these tools you get to hear about, I started to realize that they were never a realization, because somebody, even a bring your own device, somebody might have a phone, somebody might not, but now our teachers can truly say, open the devices, back channel, done. It's not, the tool's not an obstacle. We have proven that the loss of instructional time in going to a cart, pulling it out, walking down the hall to a computer lab is huge. We have 45-minute blocks. So when my board says to me, is this working? Do I know for sure? Are we demanding everybody to do one certain thing? No, but what I know for sure is I've eliminated the loss of instructional time. I've provided for the teacher an environment that they can, make successful. Science, oh my God, science books, when you buy a science book. For the extra, $10 for the online version, for the kids to watch the video of a dissection and not the page of a dissection, the picture of it, the value of having these devices. So and 21st century learning skills, and what does that look like when they go out the door? They are going to be in that environment. So we've back-end this with Moodle, which is free. Just got a server. Provide Moodle, it's a free software. Google Apps for Education, if your school's not doing that, they are crazy. It's free. Google Apps for Education, make sure your school gets their account established if they haven't already, because there's now something called Google Classroom. Google Classroom is the new Moodle. The teachers, it officially came out in September of last year. It was given to certain academic people throughout the country to pilot it during the summer. So by the time, I would say by not even the end of September, I had 3 teachers that said, yeah, they just watched the Google video and boom, they were off and running, loved it. It had quirks, it wasn't a Moodle, its assessment tool wasn't there. They weren't sure how, if they built everything, how it was going to roll over from year to year. They jumped in, and because it made their job easier. And the kids, it was in an environment, they had the tool, and the kids were in an environment that they're used to, you know, and they're going to see when they get out. So two powerful tools there. What this webinar is, trying to back end that. So you know, Jordan, NASA's trying to use course sites. So take it serious. It gives you an opportunity to be the learner in that environment, to see what when you become the facilitator of that environment, you'll know and understand what it's like and the frustration of the learner in the environment. Continue to ask kids, are their accounts set up? You know, things like that. We're going to show you the resources that are available that hopefully, with the tool that you got from this grant, the iPad, you know, that you'll be able to model that. And Steve's got a couple of great things to tell you in the future about that.
So
too.
we were, you know, in light of the video talking about changing education, we want to talk a little bit about the flipped classroom. Has anybody done the flipped model, flipped classrooms at all?
Do you know what that is?
Do we know what it is? You've done it, sort of?
Our high school has gone in some of their math classrooms. And as a middle school, we're hosting a lot of resources like videos that students will be able to access if we want to use it on occasion. So yeah.
So for those of you who are not familiar with the flipped classroom model, basically the traditional way of doing things is you as the teacher teach the content in class, and the students are sitting there hopefully absorbing it all. Then you give them some homework where they go home and they review it. Maybe they have some questions, things to answer, and come back to you the next day. In the flipped classroom model, you provide resources for them to get the content at home. So maybe you've got some video resources, maybe you've given them a PowerPoint to review, maybe you've made your own video presentation and given them that. So they sit at home and review this content and are introduced to it without you to actually ask questions until the next day. And so they are watching the content, they are absorbing as much as they can, they are thinking about it, and then they come in the next day and they have the questions, and you can do the follow-up. So the idea is that a lot of the time is spent at home absorbing the content, trying to learn as much as they can on their own, and then you're there the next day to answer questions and to extend their learning, and maybe even differentiate into 2 different groups. The group that really got it is ready for, you know, the next thing, and the group that watched your video and is still scratching their head trying to figure out what in the world you were talking about, and you can work with them as a separate group. So the model has been tried. I don't know that there's a lot of research done as to its effectiveness. I know that teachers that I've talked to that have used it, they like it. The kids seem to like it. But I don't think it works for everyone. Like almost everything in education, there's not one thing that's going to work for everyone. So it might be interesting to try. I know one teacher in the group yesterday said that they were doing it sort of partly. Like they weren't doing it all, you know, every day. They were doing it once in a while. Another teacher said that, well, he does it with the do now portion of his classroom. He presents something for them to do at home, and then when they come in, the do now is based on that video content that they were supposed to watch. So the students that watched it are able to complete the do now, and those who didn't, you know.
So Jordan wanted you to set goals. That was your flipped. He had to do something prior to coming to, you know, thinking about what your goals were. I always say flipped classroom is really, you always had sent homework home, right? So you always had something, it might be the reverse, they're doing the work and then you're doing the instruction, where they're assuming you're going to go to Khan Academy, here's how Khan teaches you how to do calc, let's say, and then you come in and you do it your way or apply it your way. Or you assume that Khan did it and you're just going to move on to the next step, you know, of maybe having them work on the activity. So there's a lot of versions of it. downfall of that is what is at home, right? Everybody's like, do they have the home environment? So that in every education, in our case, we're sending the device home. And we actually have, Comcast has $9.95 a month for internet access if you were free and reduced, and it's in our footprint. So anybody that says to me, I don't have the money to have internet connectivity, I usually give them that flyer and they just call and they look at the national school lunch data and they provide as long as they don't have an outstanding balance and blah, 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 all these conditions. But percentage-wise for our district, and we're about 50% free and reduced lunch, we probably have about 1 or 2 in the whole 9th to 10th grade, or 9th to 12th grade that maybe don't have something. But they also can drive to the school, walk to the school, sit outside of the school, they have the device, they pick up the internet. They can go to Panera Bread, they can go to, we provided the device, they can go to all the kind of places that have free Wi-Fi. Scranton School District, Scranton Community is putting out a free Wi-Fi in the community. And if you're familiar with Comcast, when you get a new router now, a new modem router, it actually is sending out a guest network for anybody who is a member of Comcast that can get on your home computers. It's like just see it, Xfinity. It's like you don't even know that they did this big push lately about upgrading your stuff. They wanted you to use their equipment because if you look, there's a guest network out there. All you have to do is use your personal account information and you can get on anybody's home network now. So
Yeah.
it's coming.
I was able to get on that short.
Yep, the side, yeah.
My sign-on.
On your account information, the shores.
Can you
guest
turn
network.
off that,
What?
can you turn off that public network?
Yeah, I think you can request, but most people don't know that it's there. And the typical user's like, wow, I have free internet. They don't know how it's happening, but it's actually your neighbors are broadcasting all that guest network for you.
Oh, I didn't have to get internet then, I just could have used my neighbor.
Yeah.
If you, well, you have to have an account. Nah. So
All right.
can you see where the vision's going? Like the obstacles that we have as teachers and at home, and as mobile apps become available, the actual data phone itself, that how many kids don't have a data phone, right? They do have a device. So it's a policy of, do you allow that phone in now? And what does classroom management look like? But that's another class. We just wanted to show you that, get you thinking about it. We wanted you to get discussion. I feel like I'm talking more.
So we do have a list of some of the resources available. Is everyone familiar with Khan Academy? Everybody just pretty much check that out. Great list of resources. So that's one of the things in the flipped classroom. You can use some of the resources that are already there, such as Khan Academy, iTunes University, iTunes U.
Anybody use that, iTunes U? Do you know Pennsylvania Department of Ed has built some content out there? And I think it's University of Harrisburg is using that as their actual school.
Yeah.
iTunes U, their coursework is all built up.
So if you went into the iTunes store, one of the options is to iTunes University now, iTunes U. It has tremendous number of videos. There's free courses from universities. You can sign up and take a course from Yale or MIT or Harvard and just free stuff. It's out there. And school districts are actually posting content there.
So you could go on and take a course from a college.
Yep.
And then,
You may not get credit,
right, I
college
was gonna
credit.
say, you get like one of those badges or whatever they're
Something
talking
like
about.
Well, is that happening now? I don't know if the badges are. I think that was the vision of what could be
Oh,
done.
okay.
Yeah.
You might just get a certificate of completion. You might just
Right.
get an email that says congratulations. I'm not sure.
Right.
I never actually finished any of them.
Okay.
But the fact that the knowledge is there.
And where do you get those?
iTunes
Okay.
University.
Oh, you get them from
The
there.
problem is I can't get onto the iTunes store here.
No, I know.
I think
We can't
you
get
need
into the
the
App Store either. So we can't even show you some of this stuff because it's blocked.
Well, last night I was able to get to the App Store in the lounge. Like I couldn't do it in my room, but I could do it in the lounge.
It's weird.
I don't know why, but I was able to get on there last night.
That is weird.
Maybe they've unblocked it from that particular access point so that allows it. I don't know.
I forgot that you couldn't, that's why I tried to get
But it's a great resource, so you might be able to find some resources there. The other thing, if you're really into doing the flipped classroom, is to make your own videos. Now, it seems like a lot to do, and it is time consuming to make your own videos, but there's some tools that make it a lot easier. One of those tools is called Jing. Is anybody familiar with Jing? You are?
Have you
used it?
No, but other people in my department have.
Okay. great.
So Jing is an application. You download it, install it on your computer, and it allows you to do a screen recording. So if I were to go to the Jing website, all it would do is allow me to download Jing. And if I go to my applications folder,
Because he's already downloaded.
yes, I've already, and I've used it a bunch. Where are you at?
I loved it. I mean, I've heard of it too, and I never used it. And the Sunday night, I was in the hotel room, and I thought, okay, we're going to demo this. I just want to make sure it is easy. And it was very easy to use, and I would definitely, if you're not a big techie person, you just want to dabble in it, I love it. Now, he's going to show you, I don't know if he's going to show you.
So
There's
this
another-
is Jing right here. I'm going to open it up. And what it will do is it will put as soon as it opens, it will put a little sunburst icon in the corner.
I think in the windows when it goes in the center.
Okay, yeah. So that way it's sort of out of the way. And whenever, you can just leave it there if you want. Whenever you want to record something, you just go to that and click on the capture button. And you just sort of highlight the part of the screen that you want to capture.
So another example would be I'd have Khan Academy up and ready to go with an example of how to do a calc formula, right? So I'm going to capture my screen. Good.
And if I come down here to say capture a video, I click on that link there, that button, and 3, 2, 1, it is now capturing what I have in there. So it's really that easy. And if I were to go to a website, I can talk about the resources I want my students to go to. I could demonstrate what I want them to do at a particular site. If you're math, it might be a little bit hard to draw right on your screen and show them a math problem and how to solve it.
Promethean board.
That's
Our
right.
department just
That's
has
correct.
their Promethean lesson up like you always would. and
Right.
They're just
And you're
waiting
recording.
on it, and yeah, it records the whole thing.
So
Right.
it would turn out like the Khan Academy turns out as the guy is explaining what he's writing.
Exactly.
It would just be you explaining what you're writing.
Exactly.
Yes.
So right then, is that just recording your voice?
So this is the
Just
recording
stop.
that I just made.
Watch.
It is now capturing what I
Is that awesome?
So
Is that
it's
easy?
really that
That's
easy.
hard easy.
And if I go to a website, I can talk about. So pretty simple, pretty easy.
I can demonstrate.
We have found though that there's a limitation to how much,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
you know,
You can
that's
only
where we run
record.
into trouble.
But once you use this and you learn then what you need and how big you want to grow, because there is, I think it's 5
There's
minutes.
some other things. There's 5-minute limit to Jing.
Yeah.
And after you record the Jing video, you can download it to your computer, but it's in a format that is kind of not recognized by all computers. It's a shockwave format, .swf. And if you don't have the right version of shockwave, you can't play it back. So one of the things you can do is upload it to Screencast. Screencast is an online site that is cloud-based. All you have to do is click on this button right here, and it lets you upload to your Screencast.com account. So you already have to have an account in Screencast. And then from there, you'll just have a link to your video.
So if you have a teacher website or wiki, just,
And you can just share that link with your students on your website or whatever, however you're sharing things with your students. And it's really that easy. There are some limitations, as we said, 5-minute limitations, although probably it's not great to go past 5 minutes for most of your videos anyway.
Yeah.
Better to chunk them into smaller segments.
They listen to us enough during the day. They
Yeah.
don't need to listen to us again.
and then there's a paid version of this, so the limitations can be expanded if you want to invest in some money on this.
And is that something that the district could get as a district-wide thing?
I'm sure. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So, but what I actually, and I canceled that rather than uploading it, what I actually use instead of Jing, which I used for a long time in the courses that I teach, I uploaded the Screencast, and I actually upgraded my Screencast account to a paid version so that I could share it more widely and have more capabilities. But instead of that, using that, I now use QuickTime. If you're I know on the Mac, if you're a Mac user, QuickTime will be on your Mac. If you're a Windows user, you may have to download and install QuickTime. On the Mac version, if I go into QuickTime, and here's my QuickTime application, it says QuickTime Player app. I've yet to try it on the Windows side, see if it will work. But now I'm in QuickTime, all I need to do is do a new screen recording in QuickTime. And where are we? It's thinking about it, spinning. If you have a Mac, you're used to that ball spinning around. There it is. So you will get a little recording button. You can see it's picking up my voice as I talk. And if I hit record, I can just click on the screen and it will start recording my screen, and I can just explain the website. This is a space math website where it's talking about using the encounter with Pluto as part of your math lesson. And now it wants me to re-authenticate. I really do have to put yours in there.
Yeah.
But let me
Stop your recording.
Let me stop the recording.
So another thing, again, Google Apps for Education, Google Hangouts is a tool to do like Skyping. And in that tool, you can, Google Apps for Education,
Yeah.
there's something called, I think it's Google Plus, we turn it off, it's kind of like your Facebook. So you can control in Google's Apps for Education what you want on and off in the school, but some schools will give different privileges to teachers and kids. So
Yeah, they do.
if you turn on Google Plus, like there's Google Hangouts. It's like a version of Skype. Hangout, like I'm hanging out.
I'm sorry,
I'm hanging out, I'm hanging out.
Okay.
So Google Hangouts is like your Skype.
Okay.
And what's neat about that is it would be like you can do it with yourself and record it. And you can, you know how we watch a webinar, a recorded webinar? So there's like even more powerful tool. And I'm seeing that Microsoft 365 is like the Google Apps version of the cloud and all the tools. And Microsoft is starting to provide all the little things that Google Classroom is doing and Google Hangouts. They have different names of it. Microsoft actually said in their Hangout version, they're going to provide an archiving tool so that educators can see if there's any inappropriate content and discipline. That's always been my gripe with tools from a technology standpoint. They can provide this, and if they're, you know, somebody says somebody did something wrong, where's the evidence of if it wasn't recorded and it was live, you know, blah, 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 this kind of. So I can see industry, you can see the way they're thinking, they know this is going to be the future and these tools are going to be available. So it's kind of neat. Even the Google Hangouts, if you are, you want to have a college professor be a guest lecturer in your classroom that day. You know, or a career person, someone in the mathematical field, you want to, you know, show your kids you're talking about this concept, and you became friends with some of these scientists. You're going to say, hey, will you Skype in? They would do it in a heartbeat. Could you Skype in for 20
But
minutes?
they have the classroom, the NASA classroom thing too, that they offer to teach a lesson. They, that you can get them course sites, and if you tell them ahead of time, they'll develop the whole lesson and teach it to your kids.
So they're thinking this way. We need to think this way. As
Who's
educators.
doing that?
Jordan told us about it when he came in last year,
Yeah.
and you can, I forget what they called it. I think it's just NASA in the classroom or something like that. It's called something easy.
Has anybody done that? Anybody?
No, I wanted to do it, but we ran out of time this year to do. I actually was going to have them do the transformations. That's what I was going to ask them if they would do for the kids, because you really need, if that's interactive, it's much more, you know, better for the kids to understand.
So when did he provide that? At Goddard? Or, okay, so Jordan did a session at Goddard. So this would be great if NASA came here and presented some of those opportunities. That would be a great vision for this.
So let me just finish this up, and then I want to move on to the resources. So this was done in QuickTime. You'll see it's that same little concept. And if I play it back, it'll just, and I can just explain the website. This is a a spacemat website. And if you don't like what you recorded, just close it up, delete it, and do it again. I've done some videos like 5 times before I was satisfied with the way my voice sounded. So it's real easy. The thing about using QuickTime is that it saves it in a better format. It's going to be a .mov format, which is more universally recognized, and you won't have any problems. So if I want to save this video, you'll see that there's a button right here to kind of upload it. And you can send it via email, Facebook, YouTube. But what I usually do instead is I go up to File and I export the movie. So I export it to my computer and I choose a format, and you can name it whatever you want, my video. And if I want to make sure my students that have Windows machines can't open it, I'll save it as a Mac and PC version. So there's no problems. And then I just do export, and it exports it. Depending on how long you talk, how long your video is, will depend on the size of the video. It may be too big to send via email, but you can actually upload the videos to something else, such as your Google Drive. You can upload it there. Or if you're using Dropbox, you can put it in a Dropbox. Or you could even upload it to Screencast and share it through Screencast. So there's multiple ways to do this, and then it's in a format that's more easily accessible. Questions?
We haven't let you talk too much. Any comments about the video?
I just had questions about your kids having those devices. Like, how successful or unsuccessful have you been with them having devices that didn't work, or they were frozen, or they were, whatever the case? Like, is that an issue?
We provide the image, so we test it. And when there's an issue, then every single one has it. And if there's an update, we provide that. One time we had to go into everyone's social studies class, because the classroom diagnostics tool that we put on there, they had an update that required, like, we had to touch the computers.
Each one.
Yeah, it was awful. But we did it, so there's only 3 of us in the district, myself and 2 techs, so we actually just took, the week,
Right.
4 grade levels, their social studies, and just went in and said to the teacher, hey, you just have to touch everybody's computer. 3 people, 25 students, let's say, you go and boom, you're out in about 10 minutes, so it was a little bit of our time. The device itself, we get from Dell. We do a Dell lease, 4-year lease, deferred payment, and we do Dell Complete Customer Care, which inflates the cost a little bit. And I've been questioned by the board, and what's that? But here's the logic on it. So you pay that up front. If you had any we did look at an insurance company, the first year, because of, they had to fix a couple computers through their money, they started to up your rates. So the lock-in to Dell Complete Customer Care is, it is what it is for the next 4 years. There's no surprises. Dell Complete Customer Care also brings a technician to our school. Like, we actually picked up help. So we have an option, if we know the hard drive's bad, and we know that we can, just ship it, we'll reimage it, slap it. But if it's a motherboard issue, we're bringing the tech in, because they got to take it apart. But most of the times lately, it's just like, bring the tech in. So that it's almost a revolving door. So anywhere on average, my office and the 2 techs are all in one room. We probably have at the door, probably maybe 10 at least kids a day, if not more.
That have some issue.
That have an issue and if we can't fix it, and I tell the guys, when you have a kid at the door, whatever you're doing, you stop and find out what the problem is. You try to fix it within a few minutes. If you can't, we give them a loaner, they go right back to class.
That's what it's
They actually use stack of loaners, and
We have loaners.
whether it's there for a week,
Right.
or it's there for, the day, and we stop that.
Okay.
So again, we have the vision of putting everything in Google Docs and in the cloud, so that the documents are with them in the cloud. They can be at a basketball game, they can be on their phone doing something, they can be on a different device doing something. So the device has the standard Office packages and things like that. We have some software that the science use, D-Plot, things like that. We have like a full image that we put on there as there's things that have to be installed. Actually, a virtualization or, there's other ways, but we don't have the money to buy the back-end, high-end server to do that, so this has been working for us.
And then what about after the 4 years?
We are in our 4th year this year.
And what's gonna happen to their laptop?
So I'm going to present to the board, and I still haven't decided how that approach will go, because I know which one they will choose, but one option would be, and I've already checked with Dell, that we can resell the device to the student. So we could say, here you
Take it
go,
with
give
you
us
to college.
$200, and go to college, it's all ready to go. And reinvest that money. We could say we're going to keep them all, we're not going to invest in a new lease, and the 9th graders are getting these 5-year-old computers. That's what I'm afraid the board might do. Now, the downfall of that is there's no more Dell Complete Customer Care after 4
Right. years.
The cost, and I will tell them, the cost of that is actually it's not worth saving that money. It's not going to be worth it. Our best investment will be
To buy new.
well, to offer it, and you can't make everyone buy it. So what's left would go down into these carts CFF carts that need a little refresh. So these devices would be perfect in the carts. In the elementary.
So Dell won't take those as a,
We don't usually do that. I'm there 15 years, and we've always done a Dell lease, and we do a $1 option to buy at the end of the lease, because every district, you have computers that are 10 years old. You
Right.
find some way you just can't, to ship them all back is too expensive. You're better off to pay that $1 and just keep it and reuse it somewhere else. I don't think there's any value in renewing the lease and sending them all back. It's just too much. It might be neat to clean it up and get it out of there, but plus, whenever I buy anything, and it's always been a question, I usually buy much higher end. Like those devices are about $1,000. We put solid state drive in, put the best processor we can afford, the best memory, we do the Dell Complete Customer Care. So the device itself might be about $500-600, but with the add-on of the Complete Customer Care and cases and things like that. But we do the best that we can get for our dollars. And right now I have a 7th and 8th grade laptop cart that I think is about 11 years old. It's better than the CFF stuff because of that model, because you don't know
right.
every year if you'll have that money to reinvest in
Okay.
those things. So we try to make sure you can repurpose the device. The other reverse concept of it is the Chromebooks.
Right.
And that's what we are looking to see if that's viable. And everyone that I've talked to, you basically get to a point where you're spending minimally $300 for a Chromebook, and you have to say, I'm going to throw it away after 2 years. Like, there's no repair to that.
Oh.
So, okay, 300, 600.
After 3 years.
You still have, I'm spending about that with a Dell Complete Customer Care, a tech coming into our office, so you really chart out the investment. But anyway, I don't want to get into details about that, but you're asking.
Yeah, no, thank you.
I'm curious, who here has a school district one-on-one initiative at middle school level? None of you? We're going to have it next year.
Well, you have,
At middle school. We've had it at our high school now for several years. Is anybody here in the district is anywhere in their district? Oh.
I don't know what I think our high school only has them.
We've done it
Kids
exactly
can't
like
take
you
it home.
pointed out.
What?
Our district rolled it out the exact same way you described.
Yeah.
And they get it, turned in over the summer, get the same one back,
Right.
loaners, everything.
What's the district name?
Conestoga Valley, Lancaster County. But I know that Peckway Valley in our same county started theirs at the elementary level. They have a one-to-one elementary or something like that.
Do they take them home? Because I hear one-to-one elementary, but it's almost like each classroom teacher has the cart, and each kid is assigned one, but they don't take it home.
That could be, I don't know.
Fourth grade with iPads that they
Yeah.
sent home from.
Oh, they do send them home.
Our 7th and 8th grade social studies has them in the room for every kid, but they're Google Chrome.
They're Chromebooks, yeah. And I'm staying open to that. 4 years ago when we were looking to do this, it was like January, and the superintendent wanted it rolled out by September. So I met with the faculty, and they were all, oh, what are you doing? Changing the environment. And we were looking at the iPad or staying with the Windows platform. We're not an Apple school. So the teachers were concerned that the kids would know what to do with the iPad, and they wouldn't.
Right.
And we're talking about, how fast.
That's probably true.
Yeah. So and then the kicker for us was because we were reinvesting our money in computer labs, we weren't going to upgrade, I needed to make sure online PSSAs and classroom diagnostics worked in the tool that we provided, because I was doing away with anything else in the district.
So they take PSSAs on this?
We do classroom diagnostics, we did PSSAs, and they actually went back to the paper. The kids in the school like the paper version
Yeah.
better, but the first year we didn't do it. We were able to deploy it.
Isn't that something, as much as they like the technology, when
Yeah.
it comes to the test? they have to-
I think it was a half, for the kids it was half and half, but I think the staff, and I was thrilled, because, you know, PSSA weeks are down weeks, so they know when it's
I know,
paper.
but I was gonna say, you must have been crazy then.
Oh, it was crazy the year we did.
Yeah.
It was crazy. But
So throughout this year, do you come back and talk about these resources? Or is this it?
Actually, what we're doing wasn't even planned. We were going to show you a NASA webinar, one of the, some of the webinars. Have you seen Casey Testerman? You will have another technology session. Did she
Yesterday.
talk about some of this? Is it the same?
Yeah, just a few, but not all.
Okay. So Casey used to show a lot of like the different apps, but I think Dave asked her to keep this kind of a model. But do we visit? No, we don't do anything else.
But you could ask at your follow-up sessions about stuff.
And one of the things at your follow-up sessions is that you'll be sitting with other teachers and you'll have an opportunity to collaborate and share a little bit. There won't be formal presentations probably yet around technology, but there'll be an opportunity for you to collaborate with other people and for you to get help with any issues you're having from other people there.
Our one science professor did one of the sessions, a monthly session, added like a little tech session. She felt there was a lot of questions and resource requests.
But we did want to talk a little bit about the NASA resources. So you've probably already installed some apps on your iPads, NASA apps. You learned about a whole bunch of different apps. And I want to show you a few that I have on here. The problem is you can't download anything here from the App Store, so if you don't have them on your iPad, you'll have to get them at some other point because the filter kind of blocks that. If you've used your iPad with your students to show them things, maybe you've held your iPad up like this or passed it around for them to look at. But you should know that there is an adapter you can get for your iPad that will let you hook it up to a projector. And if you plug this into your iPad and plug this into your projector, you can project the screen of your iPad for the whole class to easily see. These cost about $49, but Dave is saying that he's going to buy these for everyone. So, yes, so
Make
that's...
sure, we keep telling every class, when you leave here, go say, Dave, you're getting us that, so he doesn't forget it.
So that means we can use this device in the classroom
Yeah.
and they'll hook it up to the server, the school?
No, you just plug this in, watch. I'm going to plug this into my iPad.
You just unplug it from your computer, the projector that goes, and plug it from the back, and plug it in. There you
And
go.
I'm going to unplug
Like a charger.
my computer and plug in.
Give us internet access.
Yeah, you have
Okay.
to have it.
On your iPad, they won't?
They won't give us the Wi-Fi.
You
Okay,
have
so
to
here's
refresh
what I
your
did.
iPad.
And you'll see that I have up here the iPad screen, so I could demonstrate, especially if your students have iPad, maybe you have an iPad card or something for students to use, or so you can demonstrate, what you want them to do. I have a NASA app folder. You should all be aware that you can create folders on your iPads, where you can have a collection of apps, and I have a number of them in here. And so you can demonstrate some of the apps.
Good job. Cool, huh? Right off your iPad.
And show them, various things. This one is I think the planets. The one that I thought was pretty cool was the exoplanet one. And you can kind of once we calibrate, it does this.
So, the grants provided you with the tool, they provided with the adapter, and NASA's provided us with the resources.
And you
as
can do
he's
some
demonstrated.
flybys and some zooming in and demonstrate some things. So this is, the apps are kind of cool. You may or may not be able to use them with your students, but I do want to show you the fact that there's some really great websites as well.
Well, Steve,
just
just let you
switch
know,
right over.
when that app is connected, if you turned on your camera, you've got a document camera. You can demonstrate science experiments. You just.
Well, everybody should have you all have a document camera from the grant, right?
Project down, you can actually show your hands up on the screen.
Did everyone get a document camera from the grant? Oh, is that the last grant?
No, that was the last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
okay, never mind.
Yeah, but just by connecting that, and they do still stands that you could prop your iPad and project down and you can do
Yeah.
a book, you know, readings. And kindergartners love reading a book instead of some.
We'll take that over the board.
What's that?
We'll take that instead of the board.
The
Camera?
document camera?
Well, your iPad is though, is what I'm saying, a document camera.
Yeah.
But you'd rather the camera itself, I gotcha. The Ziggy, was it the Ziggy?
Elmo.
Elmo. Oh,
The
that's-
Emmos are expensive.
Yeah, the Ziggy is what we got, I think it was,
The Ziggies were like $79.
yeah.
But they work for us. So, these are some of the NASA resources. We do have the link on the wiki. So, has anybody been using any of the NASA resources with their students? Yes? Just one person?
But we're math, don't forget.
Okay.
Well, we were looking for, one of the classes gave us the space math. I'm sorry, Stan, I'm killing, I mean, Steve.
So there is a space mat.
And they said this tab in the corner here.
Oh, this NGSS and CIS. Okay.
Steve, there's
Oh, there
one
you go.
that you sent us like 4 years ago
Yeah.
that went from the tiniest thing to the largest thing.
Oh.
And I have lost that link and it was so long ago and my computer crashed.
So we'd like that as a resource, if we could.
It was a really good, it was really good.
It's sure
Just
to
a visualization of like what we can see visually and then down to microscopic and beyond to
It
the
went
smallest thing known.
to like an atom, to
And
an
then-
electron, to a.
Right, to the planets, to, you know,
I think NASA has them on their course site.
maybe.
One of their-
Oh, really? That would be
Maybe,
good.
I don't know if it's the same
Because
one.
Do you use it for
Zoom
scientific
in.
notation?
Use it for that?
Yeah, for scientific notation and then just for visualization as far as the.
So we're not logged into course sites, so we're not seeing what they're posting for you guys.
This
So
is
that-
something you had sent.
I found
years ago.
that link, yeah, and I sent it out,
Do
but
you remember what I'm talking
I
about?
do remember it. I don't know where that link is anymore.
Okay.
But I'll try to find it,
Okay,
get that back up. on the-
yeah, yeah, because
Okay.
that was cool.
That was cool. I remember seeing that. It was one of those things I had to share. It was so cool.
Yeah,
And when you find things, again, feel free to add them to the wiki when you find things. So we don't, I don't know if this would be useful at all, the space map.
Yeah, they have it according to grade level too, so if you went to that first page and screen down, it'll show you.
Math by grade level?
Yeah, I think if you go to that home page you were on and screen down, oh, there it is.
So say algebra or grade 6 to 7?
So we're really, keep in mind that we're asking you to write some units, lessons, incorporate NASA in that, so that's way, again, revisiting some of the resources are valuable.
How big is our solar system? So these are some pretty cool resources. Are these something you might be able to use with your students? So feel free to make use of these resources. If there's a worksheet or a problem posted there, incorporate it. You'll have to adapt them and make them work for your classroom, but it'd be great if you could make use of some of these. Anybody else have any other sites in NASA resources? So why don't you spend a few minutes looking at these NASA resources, seeing what might work for you, and maybe even discussing a little bit about how you might incorporate these in your classroom.
One other was Science360.gov, I think it is. It's a science, but we saw, what was it? Something about a shark, math shark, something.
Yes.
Like you never know, crossing over to the other side there might give you, some tools that you can incorporate. And also, we were going to show them the PDE SAS portal. Did you ever see that? The materials and resources?
I find that very difficult to navigate.
Yeah, I think
Well,
it is too.
If,
I'd like to
can
see
can
you show us something though.
All right, can you type up there?
But I always think I get lost in that, I don't know what to do with it. It's so.
Okay, so watch how quick this is. SAS?
All right, so PDEsas.org.
Yeah.
What was it under?
Materials and
Materials and resources?
Yep. And I'm just going to type the word NASA right there in the keyword search.
Right here.
Yep. And enter. So, let's take the first one, gravity. Just to show you an example, and scroll all the way down to resources, because you're going to use a NASA resource, and you're all the way down, all the way down. Look what's coming up. There's the live links. Down here, NASA Lunar, you know, of how they use NASA to enhance this lesson.
3 little piggyback
Just a great-
satellites.
Example of maybe you're already doing something, you have a whole lesson plan done, and how you can incorporate the enhancement with the NASA.
So
resource.
do you know if any of those are math related?
I don't, you know, and I
Hey,
don't,
moon
I don't
math,
know.
look at this one, moon math.
I don't know how developed that site is, but what I want a bigger picture to all this is this whole grant is a partner with NASA. NASA's does want our best units and lessons to move forward. They want to post it. I would not be surprised if after NASA does whatever they're doing, that Pennsylvania Department of Ed backlinks to them. You know, so it's going to come full circle, the partnership of what you're doing here.
Cool.
If Pennsylvania Department of Ed added to YouTube, iTunes U, you know, you can see, as educators, that's the point of our session too, is to provide the resources, but to show you how, you know, you can't be in that closed environment anymore.
Is the page that you had up with, for today's presentation, where is that on the?
Aha.
What do they want?
The hidden page.
The
On
hidden
the
page?
map, you gotta put that up.
So if you go to the wiki, okay, pastem.wikispaces.com, there's a page that I created that I don't have a link on the navigation bar. Just do /tech2. And that will bring you up to
Are you going to add a link? Because that's going to be hard to
I
remember.
can add it later. I didn't want to do it now because I don't want people to start messing around with this stuff
Like
while
the
we're
talk,
presenting.
today's meet, you're
You
getting.
know, like the today's meet stuff and things like that. So I'm telling people about it at the workshop, and then I'll post it later. But there's a link to this workshop agenda, which will just bring you to, you know, this page. And there's also a link to the today's meet. That's the QR code. And we also have a Padlet ball, another Web 2.0 tool.
Yeah, we stopped talking about this because we ran out of time, as you can see, we're getting close, but this is like a.
This is a place to share.
Bulletin.
So if you find, yeah, it's bullet board. If you find some resources, you can just go to that page, double click anywhere, and you can post what you want on there to share with other people. You'll see some people have already done that. It's as easy as double clicking, put a title, call it math resource, and then you can type something in, whatever, and add the link if you find the link, or just an idea. It doesn't even have to be a link, it could just be an idea that you want to share, how you've used NASA resource.
So again, if you don't have a lot of technology, this tool as well as the back channel, you can have students sit there, you know, doing the typing and adding.
Or you can actually have the students for homework go on and post something and add their thoughts about some topic that you assign them to the board and share it with everyone.
And as always, the creator of the board has the ability to edit the board.
Right, so if you see things you don't like up there, you can delete them. The same thing with that back channel, the today's meet. I can go in and you'll notice it says delete on any of these. So if a student were to post something that was inappropriate, I can just go in and delete it. What else?
So there was a whole bunch of other things. I know that Casey didn't do it. Ed Puzzle, that if you just want to jot some of these down and look at some neat tools. Ed Puzzle, Pickler. We're starting to pick up some, as feedback from other people. Quick Keys. It's a mobile scanner as well as Grade Cam. These were good math tools because I think that it goes back to providing a multiple choice question, scanning them with your phone, different really neat stuff that you can do that you normally would have to have a scanner and bubble sheets and everything. And then Remind is a neat, it used to be Remind 101, remind.com. It's just a one-way text. So if, what's that?
Every year I say I need to set that up when I
Remind?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of teachers just use it to tell their students directly because they all have phones and they can text, depending on your school policy and everything. It's nice. We've approved it only because it's a one-way text. They can't text back.
What's it called?
Remind.com. I think Abington uses it as a notification system.
They use it for their coaches and stuff, but we haven't been offered it as teachers to
You could do it, and nobody would even know you're doing it.
Uh-huh.
Just provide it in your little personal classroom policies, going home to the parents and say, if you want to set it up, and to the kids, and just, do it.
Oh, we use it, we get it for our cancellations and delays.
Right. But it's great for coaches that want to, use the texting, but they don't want to come back. They don't want to, anything.
I think Dr. Chester showed us the line to me. Is that different?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I was just thinking that too, it's different. That's where it sends an email to yourself.
What does Remind to me do?
It sends an email to yourself, but it would say like send me an email, send me this message on like
Oh,
August
that's
1st.
cool. Oh, that's cool.
I used Remind 101 for the first time this past year.
Did you?
And it was very easy, and I liked it. Yeah, I'm going to continue.
I would actually love that, I should do that. I
How do you use it for homework?
I don't like to use it for homework because I'm a parent of 4 kids, and our elementary teachers like to use it, and I find that when you get too many, you don't look at any. So I would only use it in my classroom to send home like the night before quiz, because I found that that's when parents really want to know, oh, big test tomorrow. But you could use it for nightly homework.
I was just thinking, like, I take my class out in the community a lot. Just provide her the sneakers.
Yeah,
Or
right.
outside,
Right.
bring them.
Yep.
No, that's a great idea. Or like, oh my gosh, delete number 10 because I forgot you don't have to do it.
The disadvantage is that they have to sign up for it, like you can't sign them up for it yourself. And so my only regret was that I wish I would have had more participation. I think in our district, so many people are used to having it at the elementary level. When they got to middle school, I think some teachers or parents were like, another Remind thing.
Right, you can't use it too much.
We're going to have to wrap this up, I think, because we're getting close to.
Oh, yeah.
the end of the topic.
Sorry, guys.
Barb and I are around all week, so if you think of any questions or anything you want to, stop us and ask us, feel free. And have a good rest of the day and a good week.
Thank you.
You're welcome.